Hi. This time I'm gonna talk to you about what I think is a very important topic. Now, I have to remind you, I'm not a licensed expert in any way in this subject. So everything I say and show you, please take more as an inspiration, if you will, in order to determine if you might have this problem. Then you can seek professional help. Okay, so what am I talking about? Well, let's start by doing an experiment. Just close your mouth, your lips gently together. Don't do anything special. Now just observe, notice, how is your tongue in your mouth positioned? Especially the tip of your tongue. Is it lying low in the bottom of your mouth? Here. Now I have my mouth open, but you have it closed. So. Or is it more upwards at the gum ridge directly behind the upper teeth? Okay, two possibilities. Which is the correct one? Well, as it turns out, the correct resting position for the tongue, if you like this, not doing any sound or anything, is upwards. The tip of your tongue is on the spot at the gum ridge directly behind the upper front teeth, not touching the teeth, okay? So if you didn't have this, you can try and seek that spot. See how it feels. Okay. So, but if you had it like this may not be a problem for you. But let's continue the experiment. So let's say you close your mouth again and keep your tongue at your current resting position. Then swallow. Did you perhaps feel that your tongue, the tip of your tongue, was thrusting forwards? That probably didn't happen if the tip of the tongue was upwards, like I explained. But if not, you may be suffering of something called tongue thrust. Okay. Now you can look it up, but and I'm gonna post some links so you can read about it. But tongue thrust is, like the name implies, is actually an incorrect function of the tongue. A couple of years ago I learned that I was suffering from this. That's why I started reading about it. And if you have this, it's very important to fix for your voice. And not only for your voice. We don't have time to go into all the details, but it can have profound effects. Like if you have this tongue thrust, it can push your teeth, which is actually pretty common. Push your teeth so you get misalignment in your teeth. They come forwards, and then you have to get all kinds of dentistry procedures. They pull out your premolars and other teeth. And as I read, when the tongue is not upwards, actually it's supposed to be quite aligned with the hard palate, you know? If it's not like that, it's not stimulating the hard palate. So the upper jaw, the so-called maxilla, is not stimulated when you're as a child. So your upper jaw may not grow enough. And that's why one of the reasons why you get crowded teeth. And that's one of the reasons they have to pull out those teeth. Okay? So you can look it up, but some of the causes for this, you know, why is this happening? So as I read, as a baby, if you're not breastfeeding, because when you're breastfeeding, you're sucking the milk, and your tongue goes against the hard palate. So, but if you are bottle feeding, the tip of the bottle maybe not, how do you say, ergonomic, so you don't get this correct sucking function. So the tongue is not encouraged to stay in this position. Okay. Another reason might be that your nasal airway is obstructed somehow. Some allergies, and then you come to breathe through your mouth. You primarily breathe through your mouth instead of the nose. In the books and articles I read, it is said that humans are designed to primarily breathe through the nose. Okay, so when you have this correct resting position of the tongue upwards, aligned with the hard palate, it creates a seal. So you can have your mouth open and still breathe through the nose. If you have your mouth closed and your tongue is lying on the bottom of the mouth, the only way to get the air properly through the nose is to vacuum it. Okay. Well, so, and all those pacifiers, if babies have prolonged the use of pacifiers, it's said to encourage this wrong tongue position. And sippy cups, you know, those with this. Yeah, okay. So, if you notice this problem, that you might have this problem, it's especially noticeable when you swallow. Because the correct way for the tongue to function when you swallow is it sucks itself against the hard palate. Now, I didn't have it this way. I used to do, the tongue was thrusting against the lower teeth. Okay, so what does this have to do with singing? Well, you can experiment this if you find your larynx situated here, and above the larynx is something called the hyoid bone. Okay. And that's connected to the tongue. And the hyoid bone is connected to the larynx. So if you move your tongue out of your mouth, you can probably feel the hyoid bone moving upwards and also the larynx. So the conclusion is, if you have so-called tongue thrust, your hyoid bone is way too up, and it draws your larynx to up. Okay, and this is interesting because so-called pitch challenged people, or if we use a ugly word, tone deaf people, it appears that many of them have this problem, this tongue thrust, and their larynx is way up. And you can hear it in their speaking voice too. It sounds something like this. Okay? And when the larynx is up and you have this tongue thrust, it supposedly obstructs also those inner tubes that goes to your ears. So you don't hear as clearly your own voice as you should. And again, the conclusion is tone deafness might depend on this. So if you feel that you might have this tongue thrust and you get it corrected, you might notice an improvement in your pitch accuracy. Okay? We'll continue in part 2. Thanks.